What up, what up? Welcome back. Everyone loves goal setting. Most people suck at it. This week, we're gonna talk about all the ways that you can do it and set yourself up for success. I've made the mistake in the past of only making long-term outcome goals when I do my goal setting. So a long-term outcome goal is something like, I wanna get a black belt in 10 years, or I wanna make X amount of dollars in 5 years. Those types of goals are really beneficial and they provide a lot of motivation and inspiration to keep moving forward. But without some other steps that I'm going to tell you about in a second, they're really worthless because they don't lead to any productive action. They're just ideas. So nowadays I have a very simple process. First, I lay out the long-term outcome goal. What am I really striving towards? What direction am I heading? Then I have two more crucial steps. The next step is I lay out sub goals. So what is something that I can accomplish within 1 week or 1 month that will move me towards that direction? So what that does is it gives me something to strive for more in the short term. And by accomplishing that, I produce confidence and momentum towards that goal. The next step, and the most important step, is what I call process goals. These are habits and things that I can start to instill and do on a daily basis or a regular basis that move me towards that long-term outcome goal. So if it's, I want to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu in 10 years, then one of the process goals is I want to show up at the gym 4 days a week. I want to do some kind of yoga to mobilize myself 3 days a week. These are things that are completely inside my control that I can start doing right now to start moving towards my goal. Another thing that's become really important for me in the last couple years in terms of goal setting is to make sure that I'm very clear about why I want to accomplish a certain goal. Because what I've found is in the past, I would set goals based on what I thought others would think is cool or what society would deem is successful. And over the past couple of years, it's become very, very important for me to just act in line with my values and in line with what I want to accomplish. So I encourage you to do a little bit of deep thinking. What do you really value in life? And does this goal line up with those values? And is it possible that I'm only setting X, Y, or Z goal because he or she thinks it will be cool, or because I grew up thinking that that's what success means? I've always had a really all or nothing mentality. I'll create a new goal and go from 0 to 100 immediately. I'll go from, say, working out 1 day a week to having this new body composition goal, and I'll start working out 6 days a week, dialing in my nutrition, my sleep, my recovery, everything. And what I've noticed is that as soon as one of those habits fail, I would just say F it to the whole project. So what I've adopted over the past couple years is this new advice that I got from my friend Chris Powell. And it has to do with building personal integrity. Anytime we want to work towards building a number of different habits and going towards a really big goal, it always helps to start really small. So if I have a really big body composition goal, what I'll do instead now is I will pick one keystone habit, one really crucial habit that if I do it, it will have a trickle effect that will make every other habit much easier to adhere by. So for me, I might say I'm just gonna get to the gym for 1 hour a day. That's one very simple thing that I can focus on. And if I do that, I'm fulfilling a promise to myself. So I promise myself I'm gonna get to the gym for an hour a day. And by fulfilling that promise, I start to build some trust with myself. I start to build what's called self-efficacy, where I know that I can do what I say I'm going to do. Now, what that does in turn is it makes every other habit that goes along with that much easier. I know for me, when I show up at the gym, I'm much more likely to dial in my nutrition, my sleep, my recovery, and everything else. And it all starts with that one keystone habit. When you're lacking motivation working towards one of your goals, there are a couple different options. On one hand, you may just need to pick a different goal because it's not something you actually value, and that's why you're not motivated to achieve it. On the other hand, and this is something I keep in mind more and more these days, the more I research and study top performers, I realize that everyone goes through periods where they lack motivation and they lack inspiration. So the key here is to keep working towards your goals, and the continued action and the momentum will create more motivation at some point. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. It's been a blast hijacking the show for a little bit. Stay tuned for a D next week.